Yeah, still August 9th. This was the tip that came with my track torch. It's a Victor Z0-1-101. Different tips are used for different thicknesses of metal. And if you use too big a tip, you get a real sloppy cut. And of course, if the tip isn't big enough, you don't get a good cut either. You get a V or a valley instead of a blow through. Anyway, these tips are made out of copper, and they're not real expensive, especially if you buy a Chinese knockoff off of Amazon or eBay. What usually happens to them, they get fouled out with carbon, and the ends will get damaged from being dropped on the ground or slammed against a piece of metal because they are copper. And if you're doing heavy cutting, the heat bouncing back on them will soften the copper. So what I like to do is first square the end, and I just use a fine cut file and rub it back and forth. Okay, just take off just enough metal to get the end square, and you can actually have a heavy 3/16, could be even a 1/4 inch, until it's no longer serviceable. This is an optical illusion that is squared off. And now on the tip cleaners, I like the long style. Any welding supply store, actually I think I bought 6 of the long style for next to nothing off Amazon, and they come in different gauges. Okay, now what you want to do is find the one that just barely fits the outer ring holes. You have on this one 6 outer ports and 1 center port, and I've forgotten which one's acetylene and which one's oxygen, but it's one and the other. But you want the tip that will barely go in there, and then just insert it back and forth. And if you find resistance, stop. You can break off these tip cleaners, and you can bend them. So if you find resistance on one hole, go to the next one and make sure it's clear, and just keep on going. Go back to the one that stopped, and first thing I do is go from the back side or the inlet side of the gas and try going into that and out the discharge side. And better than half the time it will clear the obstruction without damaging the tip cleaner. If you break the tip cleaner off inside the torch tip, it's toast. Throw it away. Go to a welding supply store, get on Amazon, get you another one. You'll never get that broken tip cleaner out. Externally, I just use emery cloth, fine grit, just to clean off the carbon. Now on the part that is held on by your torch nut, this is a seating surface up here. Okay, and what I noticed is there's a ding right there on this tip. If you don't get a good seat on your torch body, it will pop like a machine gun. The blap 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 blap. You get a lousy flame, and it's constantly trying to go out and reignite. Most irritating. 9 times out of 10, you don't have a good seat against your torch body, and you don't torque the nut down to 100 foot-pounds. You know, you get about a good 15 foot-pounds of torque on it. You don't have to go nuts. And if it won't seat, your seating surface is bad, and you can probably dress that up on the lathe, but I don't know what the angle is, so I don't know if I would even try that. It is a critical gas tight connection. That's important. On the external side, like I said, just emery cloth, just buff it off real good. There's no reason to use a chemical cleaner, no reason to use an ultrasonic cleaner. That's just overkill. These things are made to be cleaned in the field with just a basic tip cleaner. These tip cleaners are also used to clean jets and carburetors, and the file can be used to clean distributor points. This file is how you dress this space here but that file is not very aggressive, and I don't want to spend 2 hours filing off a face. I'll just hit it with a double cut file and be done with it. That's what I do. So anyway, that's how you clean your tip. And if it's, you know, sound like machine gun when you're trying to use it, it needs to be cleaned. Keeps on blowing out the flame, it needs to be cleaned. If you're getting a terrible cut when you used to get a good cut, it needs to be cleaned. If it looks funny, it needs to be cleaned. They get dirty pretty easy. So anyway, hope this helps. That's all for this one. Thank you.